My name is Karel Hasler. That's how you pronounce it in Czechoslovakia. I was born January 26, 1943. It was family full of show business. My grandfather, Karel Hasler, same name, was very, very famous in the show business. He was an actor, director, he was on a stage in the theaters, he made movies. But he was mostly famous for writing songs. He was a big-time songwriter.
Tak už nic nebude mít, jestli nám zahyne, že s ní pomine, potom hudba posiluje a dodává odvahy.
He loved Prague, he loved people in there, and during the German occupation he wrote songs against the occupation and songs about freedom of the country. Well, eventually he was arrested and he was taken to Austria, concentration camp Mauthausen, where he was eventually killed. My father was a movie director and actor, but for some reason he was also involved with some work for United States government. When I was about 5 years old, once he got urgent phone call: leave the country immediately. They are after you. They are on the way there now to pick you up. It was Secret Service. Well, he didn't have chance even pack anything. He just left quickly. He got eventually to American embassy, and the embassy helped him out of country. Well, then there was me, my brother, and mother. We didn't have any contact with father. We had no idea at that time where he is, what he's doing, if he's okay. We knew nothing. Well, then I remember my mother always, when I was a little boy, she was always telling me she would like me to be a doctor. Well, it sounded good, but somehow it never got there. When I was about not even 10 years old, I got involved with dubbing, which is translating foreign children's movie into Czech language. So that was my beginning in connection with film industry. Somehow I had the show business in my blood because of my grandfather and my father. Then when I was a little later, I got involved with movies as an extra. I did that in few movies. Then when I was about 15 years, I was invited for audition for a real part. Well, a couple of steps in the auditions, and I got the part where I played the title role. It was very, very exciting. Well, it was a story about a young boy in the Second World War. Well, when I returned from the service, I still was thinking show business is made for me. So, what did I do? First, I applied for a job in television. I was hired, and I spent there, well, good 5 years. I became to be eventually assistant director. It was very exciting work. I loved that job. And guess what? Then came year 1968. Well, what it meant, Prague was already overnight occupied by Russian army. All traffic was stopped on the streets, the electric trolley cars and everything was stopped. You saw tanks, on the streets. Well, how do I get to work? So I walked, passing building of our main radio station. They were tanks pointing the guns towards the building of radio. And then I heard first couple shots. To my knowledge, nobody was hurt at that time. But then I see a group of people running around the radio station building, carrying Czechoslovakian flag. You have no idea how proud I was seeing that Czech flag blowing in the air as the group of people was running with it. It was beautiful. Well, what happened then? our regular schedules and plans what to do as far as shooting movies or whatever we did, it was already everything stopped. So what we did at that time, no matter what position who was in, everybody was helping each to other, and we began to make documents about the Russian occupation.
This is Radio Prague, Czechoslovakia, the legitimate voice of occupied Czechoslovakia. We broadcast on frequencies in the 48 to 51 meter band in English, French, Italian, Spanish, German, Russian, and Czech. Please tell all your friends and friendly radio stations. This is Radio Prague, Czechoslovakia, and now we continue. Prague has woken up into its fifth day under foreign occupation. The night was one of terror. Occupation troops fired at cars, motorcycles, every moving object without warning. The city was plunged into darkness. Nobody yet knows how many people were killed and wounded, because the occupation forces even prevented ambulances from reaching their patients. The occupation units are changing and reinforcing their units stationed in Prague and in other parts of Czechoslovakia. At this moment, the estimated number of troops stationed on Czechoslovak territory is 600,000. The unity of the people, except for a handful of traitors and collaborators, which have forever been expelled from the nation, is absolute. The inhabitants of Prague have changed this ancient historical city into a dead city. Number plates and road signs have disappeared or been smeared off by a thick coat of paint. Even the nameplates of the inhabitants of individual apartments and homes have been removed.
With the help of foreign diplomats, these films were taken out of the country. So the world will know what's happening there. Well, eventually, the Russians find out about what's happening. And of course, they were not happy about it. So they began to arrest people in television. If I would be considered, or anyone, political prisoner, that means there would be very little chance, if any, to see your home again. So it didn't give much time, and I simply decided I'm gonna leave the country. Taking passports or getting passports took 5-6 months, but at this time people were helping each to other. And I spent long time in a line in an Austrian embassy, but I had passport within 24 hours. And now, as I said, came the real hard time for me. And that was going on a railroad station to take the train to Vienna. My mother walked me on the railroad, and it was not easy. I got on a train, went to the window, looking at my mom, who was waving me, or to me, and I was waving to her. And the most tough part was when the train began to move. Me and Mom were waving to each other, and she was getting smaller and smaller and smaller until I didn't see her anymore. See, even now when I'm talking about it, I always feel little tears in my eyes because it was very difficult for me. Well, and then I went. Came Vienna. I didn't know what I'm gonna do. But I got there. Eventually I met there few friends who were working in television with me, who were on the way out of country also. Still everybody was thinking and planning what will be the next step in our lives.